In the best of cases, shooting a film is a breeze for actors. But a lot of times, especially for heavy roles, acting can take its toll. On this show, we look at top 10 actors who were traumatized by movie roles.
I'm Sofie Turner and I play Sansa Stark.
At number 10 is Sofie Turner in Game of Thrones.
She wants to be queen.
She's the sort of girl that believes in princes.
When would we be married? Soon, or do we have to wait?
In an interview earlier this year, Turner talked about developing coping mechanisms of having fun between takes so she wouldn't be traumatized. However, she also said, "I'm sure I'll exhibit some symptoms of trauma down the road. At age, I don't think I could comprehend a lot of the scene matter." Turner was 15 when she was cast in the series. She ended up having to film some of the most traumatic scenes of the series, including her character being assaulted. At number 9 is Tom Hanks in Castaway. In the film, Hanks played a man stuck on a deserted island. The character gets so desperate for companionship that he names a volleyball Wilson and speaks to him. In a recent interview with Graham Bensinger, Hanks agreed that he went nuts by the end of filming. "When Wilson was born, I had dialogue with him, and I heard his dialogue in my head. I did go crazy because I never had a day off. I never had a shot off. I was never off camera for anything. The whole movie was like, point and shoot. I don't even recall hearing action and cut." At number 8 is Daniel Day-Lewis in Phantom Thread. Daniel Day-Lewis shocked the world when he announced his retirement from acting in 2017. His final film, Phantom Thread, had reportedly engulfed him in such a depression that he would be prompted to publicly announce his retirement from acting, according to W magazine. "Paul Thomas Anderson and I laughed a lot before we made the movie. And then we stopped laughing because we were both overwhelmed by a sense of sadness," Day-Lewis told the magazine. "That took us by surprise. We didn't realize what we had given birth to. It was hard to live with. And still is." At number 7 is Leonardo DiCaprio in Shutter Island. DiCaprio called filming Shutter Island traumatic, saying it was one of the most intense, hardcore filming experiences I've ever had as we explored what the mentally ill had to face in the days when mental hospitals were called insane asylums. I went to places and unearthed some things that I didn't think I was capable of. It was like an emotional layer cake that just kept getting deeper and deeper." DiCaprio continued, "It took me back to the one time I really remembered my dreams, because I usually don't. But when I used a nicotine patch when I was trying to quit smoking, I did have blood-curdling nightmares of mass murders, and I woke up in the middle of the night and had to take the patches off. I guess I had moments like that in the film." At number 6 is Lady Gaga in House of Gucci. For her role, Lady Gaga stayed in character for 9 months. She also used her own history of trauma in the role, to a point where her own experiences began to blur with her characters. "I was falling apart as Patrizia fell apart. When I say that I didn't break character, some of it was not by choice." Director Ridley Scott was concerned she was traumatizing herself, but Gaga replied, "I already have. I've already been through this anyway. I might as well give it to you." She said she had to have a psychiatric nurse with her for the end of filming, saying that it was safer for her and that she brought the darkness with me home because Patrizia's life was dark. At number 5 is Zac Efron in Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile. When he played serial killer Ted Bundy, he had difficulty separating himself from the role when he would go home after filming. "It was almost impossible. I'd like to say that I did it successfully, but I couldn't," he told the Daily Mail. Co-star Lily Collins also had difficulty with her role in the film as Bundy's girlfriend Elizabeth, but mostly during preparation for the movie rather than during filming. "I actually had an awful time in prep for it," she said. "I woke up every single night at 3 or 4 a.m. for a month. I was woken up with visions of destruction around rooms, logs, and broken glass." At number 4 is Michael B. Jordan in Black Panther. When Michael B. Jordan played the villain Killmonger in Black Panther, he said he isolated himself and did whatever he felt he needed to do to prepare for the role, but didn't have an exit plan. Afterward, he said it caught up with him and he found it hard to go back to his normal life and self. "Readjusting to people caring about me, getting that love that I shut out," he said. "I shut out love. I didn't want love. I wanted to be in this lonely place as long as I could." He decided to go to therapy, which he said helped immensely. Everyone needs to unpack and talk. At number 3 is Ned Beatty in Deliverance. Had been pushed to its limits. Afterward, Chris Dickey, son of the film's writer, James Dickey, said that Ned tried to snap back out of character, to relax. But it wasn't working. And that day, and for the rest of the time he was in North Georgia, he seemed to have changed, as if whatever sadness or insecurity he'd covered up before as a man, just couldn't be contained anymore. However, Beatty wrote that he was proud of being a part of the story. He even wrote an op-ed about the experience and men's reactions to rape victims. At number 2 is Christina Applegate in Dead to Me.
Kind of been a raging bitch.
Well, that's fair to say.
After first appearing as Jen on Dead to Me, Christina Applegate revealed that the show, which deals with grief and murder, caused her to start going to therapy, especially as it brought up her own experiences with loss. It tapped into some stuff that I had to face. It was cathartic. I don't know if it was therapeutic. Did I start therapy after the show? Yes, absolutely, Applegate said. At number 1 is Kylie Richards in Halloween. Kylie Richards was only 8 when she appeared as Lindsay in Halloween. For Richards, it wasn't filming the movie but, rather, seeing herself in it that had an adverse effect. I had no idea what I was in for. Seeing it for the first time all pieced together was a very, very different movie. It was just really scary. And I really did sleep with my mom until I was 15 years old after that. I was terrified, she said. I think that's what sealed the deal for me to get out of horror films. After seeing myself in that, I was always thinking there was someone hiding behind the drapes or outside my windows or under my bed, so I would just sleep holding my mom's arm the entire night, Richards said. That was our show for today. What did you think? What actors do you know were traumatized by certain roles? The channel and ring the bell to stay informed of upcoming shows. Also check out my Carl Vincent, Vampire Hunter franchise, also in the comments section. Until next time, this is Billy Joe, in for Kevin Given saying live long and prosper, may the force be with you, and keep reaching for the stars.